So next up we have Saturn, and then we're gonna do PlayStation after Saturn, PlayStation 1. Saturn I don't have a lot of exposure to, but I am gonna throw something out here because this is a really, early. I mean, it has 3D graphics, but it's kind of almost like a modern day 2.5D game. But it was a lot of fun, and like the controls are quality, and it's Pandemonium on the Saturn.
Mm.
I just got this game a couple years ago, and I've played it multiple times actually, and it's surprisingly good. And
It is good.
yeah, and the story's a little weird and stuff. Who cares? That doesn't matter. The platforming is fun, and the game controls well. Like that's probably the two biggest things, especially for that time. These early 3D games are like so many of them were just horrible because the control, like nobody knew how to do 3D games, right? But this was almost like a 2.5D, and it worked really well.
Yeah, didn't I tell you we had that game and didn't you get it from me? I'm like,
I
man.
did.
I was like, hey, we got Pandemonium for Saturn. I
Yeah.
remember playing Pandemonium for the PlayStation, and it was really good then.
Oh, I didn't even know they had a PlayStation version. That's cool. It would make sense. The Saturn bombed, so a lot of those companies were like, "Yeah, just put it on PlayStation. Just put this on PlayStation. It's fine." And that was Crystal Dynamics, so
It
obviously
was.
they would go to put on many other games on PlayStation after that. The pricing you got for this one is 35 loose, 59 complete in box. So not for a Saturn game. This is like nothing.
That's cheap.
This is a cheap Saturn game. I think most of the cheapest Saturn games you see, like the cheapest ones, are probably like $25, like for the like bottom of the barrel.
Yeah. Well, it's a little different than my Saturn pick because I picked Three Dirty Dwarves. Yeah.
What the hell is this?
It was a multiplayer, two-dimensional, side-scrolling beat 'em up, like side action game. Saturn was really good with like 2D side scrollers.
Okay,
That was their
okay.
thing.
The title's
And
just terrible.
yeah, they're like ogres, and there's three of them, and they're different shapes and sizes, and you could pick up different weapons through the game, and it's yeah, it was Three Dirty Dwarves.
Yeah, I don't know anything about this one. That's all. That's all you, sir.
You got okay. This is one you kind of have to look up because it actually was really good. It was one of the shining spots of the Saturn.
Did they
And
port this to anything else, or was this just on
n-
Saturn?
nope, just on Saturn. And it's kind of pricey now because a complete in box will run you about $150.
It's a bit. It's not crazy for Saturn, but it's getting up there. Now, did Sega develop this game or did somebody else? I'm just curious how it didn't end up on like PlayStation, basically.
It was made by Appaloosa Interactive,
Hmm.
but Sega was the publisher for it.
Okay, so they
And
might have had
to
like a second party relationship or something like that.
probably, and to my knowledge, it only showed up on Saturn.
That would make sense.
But you could because it was three. If you had like the multi tap, you could play like three players and
Three
go through the
players.
game. Yeah, and go through the game like co-op.
Was was that the Saturn multi-tap? It was up to 3 players. It didn't do four, or was it just that game?
But it was that game.
Okay,
Well,
because that's a weird
because
number.
yeah, because Guardian Heroes for the Saturn, what you could do four.
Okay,
So yeah, but no, hence the name Three Dirty Dwarves. You can play up to three players.
okay. Now that makes more sense. Okay, went straight over my head the first time, but there we go. My next one's gonna be you, there's people that trash this game, Wes. I just have to defend it slightly.
Okay, for
This
what
game,
console?
well, I'm just gonna defend the series in general first. And that's
Okay.
Rampage. Rampage gets crapped on. I hear it all the time, like, game's stupid. Oh, like you just punch things. I
How?
like
Oh
I
my
like
goodness.
I like just punching things, Wes. I don't know if you know that about me, but I like just punching things and beating things up. You're gonna see that again later on. This is gonna repeat itself later. I'm not Rampage, a different franchise, but you are mostly just punching
Mm-hmm.
things and breaking things, which is
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why people don't think that's fun. First of all. I mean,
Uh, I don't know. I remember playing Rampage in the arcade, the original Rampage, and
mhm.
it was fun. When Arcade One Up first came out, one of their first cabinets that I bought was the Rampage cabinet because
Nice.
it was just fun.
It was
Smashing buildings, eating people. It
just
was
mindless
great.
entertainment. There's no story. There's no
Exactly.
story. You're just breaking things and eating people.
That's it.
And this is obviously inspired by like King Kong. There's a big ape, a giant lizard, and
Hmm.
there's one other one that I can't
A
remember right now.
wolf.
A wolf. Thank you.
Hmm.
Yes. Um, but this one is Rampage World Tour. This one is on PlayStation. The pricing, just so you guys know, it's only 1081 loose, 1590 complete in box. So it's not an expensive game. And I remember just playing the hell out of this game. I rented it, and um, Wes, I don't know how many hours I put into this. Again, going back to the mindless thing, I could just sit there and just play it. And I probably could have beaten the game, but I don't know. At some point, my eyes gave way, and that was enough. But it was so much fun playing that game.
World Tour.
World Tour.
Now that was the kind of 3D one, right?
Um,
No, am I thinking of a different Rampage?
it may have had 3D environments, but I think it was still on a 2D plane. Don't second guess me, Wes. I hope this is the one that's in my mind. Here, I'm gonna be honest with everybody right now. I did not look at a video on this. I could have sworn that was the one I played when I was younger.
Maybe I'm
This is
thinking
all
about
just
the
from memory.
64. Maybe I'm thinking about the Nintendo 64 one.
I don't know, but
I don't know.
there was definitely one I played on that system, and it was fantastic. And I'm 99% sure it was this one. But this, you guys got to forgive me. This was probably 25 years ago. I'm old. I don't remember. I just remember having a lot of fun with it. And I could have picked other PlayStation games, but I really wanted to mention this one because I don't feel that Rampage ever gets enough love from anybody anymore.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they tried to do that movie with The Rock,
That
the
was just
Rampage movie,
unnecessary.
and yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
But yeah, I would recommend Rampage World Tour. Go check it out. Hopefully that's the one I was thinking of. I can't. Wes, they couldn't have made like 5 Rampage games for PlayStation. If anything, there might be 2, and I'm picking the wrong one. But I'm pretty sure I remember the title, and this is the right one.
Well, if Matt's talking about the wrong game, please let us know in the comments.
Yeah, let me know. I'm an idiot. It's all right. And just to be clear, this week coming up into the show, I went back and played almost every game, but I don't own this one, so I might because it's cheap now, right? I might just go pick that up.
There
But
you go.
this is one that I didn't get to go back and replay. I wanted some stuff fresh in my mind, which we're gonna get into a title real soon that I just played for the first time that was interesting. But before we do that, Wes, what is your PlayStation pick?
So my gem for PlayStation was Fear Effect.
Okay, I
Um,
know this game, but I never played it.
yeah. Oh man, it was. I'm trying to. It was very impressive when it first came out because it
Mhm.
used this 3D technology for the graphics, and it was a kind of sort of survival horror slash action game,
Okay,
and it had some shooting elements in it, some puzzle solving elements in it, but the whole game played out like a full motion animated movie.
that sounds cool.
It was it was 3 to 4 discs, if I'm not mistaken, if it came out when it came out.
I remember being in that thicker
It was
PlayStation
thick.
case.
Yeah, it was good. I really enjoyed it when it first came out, and I tried to revisit it not too long ago. You know what? It still holds up. It still holds up.
Now, did you play like an emulation, or did you play it on PS1, or how did you play it?
I played it on PS1.
Okay, there you go,
I
man.
I pulled my PS1 out and popped it in and started playing it again. And I was like, oh wow, I forgot how good this game was.
You know what? A lot of those games from those like PS1 era N64, there's a lot of them that don't play very well, unfortunately, or at least like if you overlooked it at the time, you compromised because it was what it was. But now going back to them,
Hmm.
it's like, oh man, this is hard.
Oh, there's some stuff that does not hold up. Like, for example, Battle Arena Toshinden does not hold up well at all, at
Yeah,
all. But Fear Effect, I didn't mind it. Granted, technology advanced, leaps and bounds since it first came out. Because now we're talking like what, 30 years almost.
yeah,
But it's good. And so if you are interested in trying to find Fear Effect, complete in box, you're looking at about $30, which isn't too crazy. If you just find the discs, it's $25. So I'd spend the extra $5 and try to find it complete if you can.
yeah. Easy,
Like I said,
easy.
they did do a second one, Fear Effect 2, but I think my love was more for the first one.
Fear Effect 2 is on PS1 also, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I have one follow up question. Did you play the
Mhm.
new one that was on like PS4 that was supposed to be horrendous?
Wait, what?
It was on PS.
What?
It could have been PS3, but I'm confident that it was PS4. It was supposed to be like god awful.
Fear Effect. They brought back Fear Effect.
Yeah,
I did not know that.
yeah. It got terrible reviews, and it like sold terribly. I just the only reason I know this is because I always see it on sale for like $1.99. Like that I don't see it on sale anymore at all. I mean, I don't know anything about it, but there, I follow a bunch of places for like deals on games, and for the longest time, that thing would always populate for like $2.99, $1.99. Like dirt cheap.
I may have to go and investigate that just to see, just to see what it looks like if it plays like the originals, and
Wes,
you know.
just go to McDonald's and get some fries. You're gonna have a much better experience. Please.
You just piqued my interest, my friend.
I don't know if it's still that cheap. You guys don't hold me accountable. I have no idea. Hell, I
Okay.
don't even know if it's still available the way digital games are now. It might you might not be able to get it at all. Who knows?
Oh, don't get us started. Oh my goodness.